all men feel a certain extra motivation, need to augment themselves with extrinsic values, bank accounts, job titles, a fancy car, a nice house, to add these things to himself in order to attract and have what beautiful women are empowered to demand. This dynamic, this setup is part of what creates what we call patriarchy. If all men are set in competition to try and be protective providers, and more than that, to try and achieve and succeed their way into a position high enough that they can attract large numbers of beautiful women as sexual partners and one particularly beautiful woman as a marriage partner, then the most successful protective providers will rise the highest and will create the patriarchy. But my point is that this is something that's co-created. This is not just something that men are doing all on their own. Women are involved. Women are part of the force of influence that is creating our world.
Okay.
I'm seeing men doing whatever it takes to make money because men are made to feel so socially and sexually and matrimonially and parentally inadequate without money.
So you kind of answered my question. So it doesn't matter if you're in a monogamous relationship with a wife and developing a family, or you're a single guy. The ultimate goal is to try to get as much money as possible so you can look like you're a good success symbol, so you can attract those sex symbols, because most guys that don't have money, even if they look good, if they don't have money, then based on what we call the sex symbols, not to be derogatory, they still wouldn't be attracted to them because they still, looks are not enough.
Right.
Especially for a guy. There was some question in your book that if 3 women graduate from college and 2 guys graduate from college, what does a 3rd woman do?
Right, right. Yeah, one of my concerns, we were talking about the future and it's unpredictable, it's like the weather, but that's true. And Katrina taught us that if there are storm clouds out there, we'd be fools to ignore them, right?
Right.
Katrina might not have hit New Orleans. We didn't know for certain,
right,
but it sure looked like it was headed that way, and we certainly did not prepare well enough. What I see are storm clouds in the offing. What I see is, and I'm seeing it particularly in the black community, is a tendency for the women to outperform the men, both financially and in terms of status and in terms of academics.
Right.
We're looking at about 42% of the college enrolled being male right now, which means that about 58% of the college enrolled are women. That is for all races. In the black community, that disparity is much larger. And my fear is, my concern is, my prediction is that as woman keeps rising and she looks around her for men that are at least her equal, and if she's not finding them, that women who cannot marry up or cannot even marry across will not marry at all.
What about marrying out?
Well, that is happening, but if all races of men are lowering in comparison to women who is rising,
okay,
eventually we can get to the point.
It may not be any room to move outward.
What we're seeing is in studies very clearly that, for example, medical students, the male medical students are in surveys expressing an interest in marrying women of any particular means, doesn't matter. One particular study of female medical students, there wasn't even a single woman that marked a box saying that she would be interested in marrying a man substantially less successful than herself.
Oh, really?
Not even one.
So the criteria that the women are using is different from what the men.
Yeah. So what we have is a world in which male doctors we can easily see them attracting to and falling in love with a female nurse and marrying a female nurse. But the reverse, we're seeing almost none of. We're seeing very few female doctors who are attracted to, desirous of, wanting to date, wanting to have sex with, and wanting to marry a male nurse. And if we're looking at a future world of, and I'm speaking metaphorically, of course, a future world of female doctors and male nurses, what happens to the basic heterosexual dynamic? What happens to families? What happens to the longevity of male-female relationships? Yeah.
Going back to the success symbol model, and just what is that? How much of the criteria is this guy meeting?
Yeah, and here's the really difficult part of this now, is that it really comes down to biology, and biology is so mysterious. We really don't understand it. We don't really understand how it plays in. But you see, the thing is, I'm not really accusing women of anything or putting them down or anything. Men attract to beauty in large part because we have no choice. This is
Right.
how it works for
Right.
us. And women, you know, the men are looking to replace their mothers, and the women are looking to replace their fathers, and
Right.
and what women are attracted to in men are largely elements along the respect axis. And as men keep sinking in their status, the concern is that heterosexual relationships will be diminished, that they won't last, that they won't be solid, that they won't produce good families and family structures. And this is my concern. And it's not just that women are being mercenary and seeking money. It's both sexes seek to fall in love. Love is the goal for both sexes. It's just that men and women fall in love under different stimuli.
Right.
And my concern is that it's not just that women may be unwilling to sort of marry down. What I'm concerned about is that the biology of the sexual attraction creates limits, so that women may be unable to fully attract, to fully engage herself heterosexually with men who are, in her estimation, several steps down, both in terms of education and status.
Well, I guess it kind of reminds me of the thing that the guy that was a millionaire that finally got the wife of his choice asked her the question, if I wouldn't have had all this money, would you have still loved me?
Yeah.
And she said, yes, but I would have missed you too.
Yeah. Yes, in many ways, money is like a qualifying
Right.
round in a race.
Right.
And if you don't have that, then you just don't get into the race.